We negotiate all day, every day, from the time we wake up to the time we go to sleep. As negotiation scholars aptly put it, like it or not, you are a negotiator. Negotiation is a fact of life. So it's worthwhile to take a closer look on how to build the foundation for successful negotiations. 300 years ago, the French diplomat François de Callière, one of the founders of the theory of negotiation, noted that the art of negotiation is so important that the fate of the most important states often depends on it. He particularly stressed that the degree of skill of the negotiator is essential. In history, many examples seem to prove this statement. However, many negotiations do not have a diplomatic or political dimension at all, but take place in the business world. Such as, for example, the negotiations that preceded the more than 60,000 M&A transactions worldwide in 2021, or the roughly 60% of litigation cases that were settled through negotiations in commercial court proceedings in Switzerland. Our negotiations impact the decisions we make, the actions we take, and ultimately the outcome we face. Thus, it is worthwhile engaging in the topic of negotiation. To do so, we first need to understand what a negotiation is. As a matter of fact, there are many definitions.
Very generally speaking, negotiation can be defined as the process of discussing something with someone in order to reach an agreement. However, this basic definition does not account for the fact that negotiation can only occur if parties involved have competing positions. If there are only common but no competing positions, there is alignment and negotiation is not necessary. Negotiation can therefore more specifically be defined as an interactive communication process where two or more parties with competing positions aim to reach a mutually acceptable agreement.
Having defined what a negotiation is, let us address the common belief that the greater the expertise of a negotiator, the higher the chances of a successful negotiation outcome.
A notable study in 2003 showed that even experienced negotiators are often unaware of their deficiencies with respect to negotiation skills. And research by Professor Gerald Williams showed that many of the intuitive negotiators believe that their intellect and practical experience automatically guarantee a good negotiation performance. There is no doubt that vast experience with negotiations is helpful, but for successful negotiations, it is more important to acquire strong negotiation skills. Such skills are learnable and can indeed improve performance.
An interesting point. So let us explore on how negotiation skills can be improved. To believe that negotiation skills or performance will substantially improve by slavishly following one particular rule is wrong. As for negotiation, there are more rules and skills than just one, but there is one of greater importance when it comes to creating value. A study by Professor Thompson found that 80% of negotiation value results from preparation, and only 20% can be created in the negotiation itself.
To succeed in any negotiation, preparation is key. This crucial fact was already proven in 1983 in a study on legal negotiation and settlement. If you prepare and collect more information about the facts, relations, interests and perceptions of your counterpart, you are the one in control. But there is one more thing, probably the most essential of all. To quote Harvard professors Fisher and Urey, the ability to see the situation as the other side sees it, as difficult as it may be, is one of the most important skills a negotiator can possess.
The theory of negotiation also makes a difference between win-win and win-lose orientation. What is this about?
Well, to put it simply, a win-win negotiation approach focuses on increasing the pie for all involved, whereas a win-lose aims to defeat the opponent.
And which one of these approaches has more potential? A scientific study by Kupfer-Schneider involving more than 700 lawyers came to some surprising findings.
The study shows that the approach chosen has an impact on the perceived effectiveness of negotiation. 99% of the negotiators applying a win-win approach were perceived to be effective, whereas of those applying a win-lose approach, only 40% were perceived to be effective. In fact, research shows that not only the approach chosen, but also the perceived skills of a negotiator are important. Negotiators who are perceived by their opponents to have a high level of negotiation skills are more able to move the opponent towards the desired outcome and to arrive at better win-win solutions. For us lawyers, both approaches, win-win and win-lose, have their justification when it comes to protect our clients' interests. Which approach we choose mainly depends on the specific situation, the opponent and the desired outcome.
However, the concept of win-win often seems to be misunderstood. Win-win does not mean that a negotiation should only be conducted in a non-contentious environment, or that win-win solutions can only be achieved through cooperation.
When it comes to effectiveness in negotiation, clear and honest conflict can help to identify potential problems. Modern conflict research shows that conflict should not be avoided at all costs. Rather, conflict should be embraced and used to understand the interests and emotions involved.
So, what does it take to be a good negotiator? Understanding and learning the negotiation process, as well as constant self-reflection and analysis, is crucial to improve negotiation skills. A promising way to improve one's negotiation performance is to enhance skills in communication, listening, empathy, and change of perspective. Conventional wisdom has long maintained that some people are good negotiators because they are naturally gifted, while others are not. However, this is a misconception. Research by Tsai and Baserman has demonstrated that negotiation skills can be improved with training. In fact, research by Herbst Schwartz has shown that untrained students performed significantly worse than trained students and professionals. However, what is more striking is that students with some negotiation training were not outperformed by professional negotiators. Hence, successful negotiation performance can be trained. It is therefore not surprising that in another study by Ruth Herbst, almost all interviewed executives are convinced that negotiation skills have an essential impact and therefore consider negotiation training and education to be of great importance in business transactions. So to conclude our excursus on how to build the foundation for successful negotiations, let us sum up what is essential. Negotiation skills such as communication, listening, empathy, and change of perspective are indeed essential factors of success. They can create significant value in any negotiation. Trained negotiators can successfully compete with experienced or naturally gifted negotiators. It is therefore important to understand that negotiation skills are learnable and can be enhanced by training. Understanding the negotiation process, as well as constant self-reflection and analysis, is crucial to improve one's negotiation skills. That is the key foundation for successful negotiations. So, get prepared and build the foundation for your next successful negotiation.